Hello again. Okay. Um I'm not sure what is going on with this computer. It was working fine. I was testing the live, testing it on some running some tests. The test came out fine. Then suddenly it starts to crash on me again. So, here's what I'm going to do. Um I'm not going to continue playing this game with this computer and just kind of having all these technical issues. Now, if tonight, if this goes aren't, or if it crashes again, I'm going to call it. And I'm going to stop all future lives until I can fix this problem, which might take a while. So I'm going to actually disappear from YouTube after tonight. Because this, I know it's frustrating for all of you out there. It's frustrating for me. And at this point, I either have to just buy another computer or we're gonna I'm gonna keep running into this issue. So yeah, if it crashes, um, I'm not gonna restart. And I know the video is not that great because I can see all sorts of warning messages that um, the feed is not going through very smoothly. So I understand the frustration with all of that, guys, and I apologize. But after tonight, I'm gonna cancel all the lives until further notice. Um, and if it drops again, well, I'm not gonna reboot it because it's not easy to do. And I know it's frustrating for all of you out there. So again, I do apologize, but yeah, after tonight, until I can get this whole internet situation squared away and all of these technical difficulties, um, I'm just not gonna. I'm just gonna postpone all the lives because I know it's frustrating for everyone out there. I get all sorts of emails and comments about it, um, a lot of which you don't see. So yeah. All right. Um, and now the computer does. Okay, there it goes. Technology is not behaving. No, it's not, Cat. It is definitely not. Um, and it's frustrating. Frustrating on all fronts. Um, don't know what else I can. Don't know what else I can do about it except just. I mean, I try learning about it. I do my best at learning all this technical stuff, and sometimes you just don't. It just doesn't want to cooperate. And these past couple nights or these past couple lives, it's just been acting up on me. And I think a lot of it is just the fact that well, computer's only maybe 3 years old, but in technical world, that's ancient. The sad part about it is that this is kind of, I don't know if you know what you know about the world of computers, but um, I guess this might be Microsoft's way of forcing you to buy a new computer or upgrade to the newest software, which a lot of people don't like doing, but they force you to do it. So I might switch to Apple for that matter, because you never hear about Apple products crashing or Apple products having all of these technical issues. So yeah, sorry. I just need to rant right now because it is frustrating to start a live and run all your tests. All the tests look fine. And then suddenly when you're on the live, that's when everything hits the fan. So yeah, I'm gonna just say, well, if it crashes one more time tonight, I'm not gonna come back on. And for future reference, I will probably be canceling all future lives until further notice, or until I can actually get this whole situation cleared up, because again, it's just frustrating. Sorry, I don't mean to rant to all of you guys, because it's not any of your fault. But you know, sometimes you just have to, right? When you have one of those days where it's, you know, it's not your fault, but you got to take the blame for it anyway. And as soon as I say that, watch, it's going to last and have no problems. And yeah, I'm getting messages that the video's not running smoothly. Okay, so 93% of the video has been dropped in the last minute, which basically means you're watching a kung fu movie where you hear me, but the picture ain't moving. So yeah, it is what it is. Isn't technology so wonderful? Okay. Before I forget, I do have to answer a question that someone had. Let me clear up all of this for a second. Okay. So someone asked me, where did I get this, or what is this this surface that I'm cutting on? This video is not sponsored, but there is a company called Caterpillar. I don't know if you can see that, but here is the other logo. It's called Caterpillar. This product is called the Caterpillar Self-Healing Cutting Mat. It's basically just a cutting mat where you can put it on top of this. Now, what in the world is this? Okay, think of this. It is a light box, but it's very, very thin. Think of it as like a giant tablet or a giant iPad. And all it does is it's a light box where it is rechargeable. And if you get the combination of the mat and the light box, what it does is it helps you see through, like in the case of paper piecing, you can't see it on camera, but if I'm trying to place my fabrics here, I can see right through with the light shining on, and you got different brightnesses. But when I place my fabrics here, you can probably see this a little better. So this dark outline that you see here, that's the fabric. And then I can use this light box to kind of place where the fabric goes, and I'll see if I have enough fabric to cover the piece. This is great. This product is great for paper piecing. If you're an applique person, you might want to think about getting one of these, because if you're trying to trace the pattern onto pieces of paper, any kind of tracing where you need light, or you kind of need to see the back, or what am I trying to say? anytime you need to actually trace a pattern that you don't have a template on, but you have a piece of paper, you want to trace it onto another piece of paper, these light boxes or these light boxes are very great for that. Again, I'm not sponsored by Caterpillar. I do like a lot of Caterpillar products though. Case in point, this light box. And it's not just for quilters. If you're a paper crafter, sometimes you need to see the placement of things. Like if you're using a stencil, you want to place that stencil on in a certain area of the paper. These are great for that as well. So, and they come in different sizes too. This was the largest. I bought this maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Yep, it still works. And at the time, this was the largest size. I think it's like about what is this? 14 by 24 inches. There's larger ones now. Of course, the larger one you get, the more money it costs, but they're pretty reasonable. They're not as expensive as you might think they would be. Okay, got the top part done. Now to finish up with the bottom. Okay. So yeah, that was a question from somebody. Forgot who it was from, but they wanted to find out more about what in the world is this weird looking cutting board that you've been using. So that's what it is. And this is not cut very well. Yeah, that bottom part is a little off, so I'll trim that off. I'll turn it off now so that it's not blaring in front of the camera, because I know that's irritating. Let's do this piece. Do 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 do. Okay. See, now things are running very smooth. Does Sobeka use Apple products for hers? She might. That's a great question. I know she uses her phones. I'm not sure. Yeah, in fact, that's right. She does use Apple products on her live stream. So the thing with Apple products, though, they are 3 times more expensive. Although they're good quality, but I seem to have missed. Didn't I start there? Oh well. But yeah, even she struggled. I remember she did struggle early on with a lot of the technical things. But oh, that's why I totally misplaced it. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just rip this apart. I'm gonna trash this puppy. And we'll start all over. So, we will start all over with this section here. Okay. I just kind of ripped that off, but I'll need to trim this down now. Trim that part off, and let's get another copy. I don't have this one marked up, do I? No, but that's okay. I can still use it. Okay, let's start all over. Start over with that. I'll flip it around so that the widest part is at the top, and let's turn this light box on. I can line it up like this. Okay, so you see how that works. I can kind of see the outline of where the fabric is, and I can place it so that it covers that whole section. And I can move it down, pin here. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Then I will take this side and fold the paper back. Make sure that I have okay. Kind of cut it close there, but that should be fine. As long as I got, you know what, let me reposition it because I can kind of see I didn't quite get all of that. Plus it shifted on me. Okay, now I should have it now. Okay, there we go. Nope. Okay. Lessons in paper piecing, what not to do. Okay, so that looks good. And then let me check this end of it. Nope, didn't line that up. Let's just cut a fresh piece. We'll cut it here. Pin that. Pin that on. Then I can fold this back. I'll trim this down. See, Chris says, I have one, love it. I love my light box, that's Cat. My dining room table has glass inserts. I set a strong desk lamp underneath it and use it like a light box. That's an alternative. I know people often use the window. They'll just tape it onto the window against the wall. That works too. So do you need to have a light box? Absolutely not. It's just that it makes certain functions or certain tasks easier to do. But do you absolutely need to have a light box? No. Okay. In fact, even with paper piecing, there is a special ruler called the add a quarter ruler, in which people were asking me, do you need to have that for paper piecing? And are you going to buy one? And I said, no, because you could use just a regular ruler. All you really have to do is just measure a 1/4 inch away, like you've been seeing me do. Once I sew the seam onto the paper pattern, you fold the paper pattern back and, just use a regular ruler and just measure a 1/4 inch away. And that's pretty much, would it help to have the add a quarter ruler? Oh, absolutely. But is it necessary? No. And I think that's where people get mixed, or they sort of get there's a misconception there where you can thank your advertisers and marketers of all these quilting companies about it. They kind of make you feel like if you do certain things, you need to have that tool, in which a lot of times you really don't. It's a nice to have, but it's not an absolute have to have. And there are some alternative things. Well, there's some things you can do to get around not having it. So I'm not an avid paper piecer, or foundation paper piecing is not my favorite technique, so I don't do it very often. So for me, it wouldn't make much of a difference to have that add a quarter ruler. I use this light box quite frequent. Well, I shouldn't say quite frequently, because there are times But, you know, for me, it was a good investment because I may not use it for quilting, but I will use it for paper piecing. I will use it for applique. Well, I guess applique is quilting, right? So I'll use it for those purposes. But, you know, again, I don't, is it absolutely necessary for me to have? No, but it sure does help on some of these things that, or with some of the tasks that I do use it for. So for me, this was a good investment. Okay, dokie. So I'm gonna cancel it until Okay, so good night, Judy. Gloria says, I love my Caterpillar light box. It's great, right? If you have uses for it, yeah, it's really great. Gloria, what size did you get? Not that size really matters, but it does. Okay, so I'm gonna crease it there, and then we'll fold it back. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the paper fold on that 1/4 inch line. Here, I can trim that. You know what I should do is press this really well. Okay. And is that going to be big enough? That is not going to be big enough. Okay, what about this one? Oh yeah, this one will fit. Okay, so I will put it this way. Let me turn the light back on. And turn that off. Okay, Gloria says the bigger one. I haven't had it long, but I do a lot of applique and I know it will come in handy. Yes, it will. I can speak from experience on that. When you got to trace your applique, if you're tracing your applique on like the fusible or any kind of steamer seam, you know, a lot of times you have to trace your applique pattern onto there. Works wonders. Actually, I should press it from the fabric side. I don't know why I was doing that. Okay. And then we'll grab the ruler again and no, I got a knockoff brand, but since I don't use it a lot, it didn't make sense to spend a lot of money. I have evaporated by. Okay. There are some other brands of light boxes like this that, as Kat was saying, it can be cheaper, but I've known brands to be way more expensive too. So shop around for these things. Why am I plucking that? That's a piece of scrap, so I don't need to deal with it right now. Okay. No, this is the opposite side, so I need to have that one's for that one. Okay, let's sew on that. And then, let's see. Not gonna quite fit. Nope, that's not gonna fit. So we shall do this. I can actually cut it about there. That will fit, and let's make it fit here as well. Let's back stitch a little bit. And we'll sew off on here. Fold that back. And we will take this here. Fold that back, trim this. And we'll press this back. As long as it fits your needs, doesn't have to be name brand, whatever works. That's right, Donna. If I used it more, I'd probably upgrade, but I'm content for now. Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm very content with this one. I do know that I do know in recent years they came out with larger sizes, but I don't, to be quite honest, I don't need to have a gigantic one. This one works for me. And this is good for me for now. So I haven't even considered buying the bigger one. Wait, no, this goes on. This goes on which end? This goes on this end. And then it flips back that way, yep. Whoops. Totally sewed crooked. Yeah, that seam is totally crooked. That's okay. We'll make it work. Every time you cut across the light, I hold my breath. I know it has a cutting surface. It still scares me. Breathe, Donna. Breathe. Yeah, I know it looks scary because the cutting mat is clear, so you don't realize that it's on there, especially when I look through it on the camera. But it's okay, Donna. I'm not cutting or I'm not damaging anything. So I need to do one last piece, which is that one, but I don't have the reverse piece of this. Or do I? No. So is this piece big enough? No. I could have sworn I cut one though. Is this piece going to work? Nope. That piece won't work, so I need to cut another 6.5. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me grab my I'm still here. I'm off camera because I need to cut a 6.5-inch strip. And I will, good thing I didn't put it back, or I didn't put the bolt back on the shelf because it is right here. and I can cut it rather quickly. Well, I say I can cut it rather quickly if I can find my rotary cutter. There it is. Okay, I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger. Okay, and we're back. So I know that will fit. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna line it up. I'll cut it here so I'm not dealing with this whole thing. And we sew. Do, 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 do. And press. Okay. And I can trim all of this excess down. Trim this down. Trash. And then last one. Okay, I think I'm gonna be all right with this because that, it should get caught in the seam allowance. We'll see. Is there enough there? Well, no, this way. So it should be okay. Oh yeah, it'll be all right. Okay, let's see. Turn that off, sorry. Yep, came out all right. So it was just enough to catch into the seam allowance. And I didn't trim this part off. Okay, so let me pull this. I'll just finger press this for now. And then I can pull off the papers from here. Okay. I am not very fast at paper piecing, considering the fact, well, okay, considering the fact that I had the technical difficulty and had to deal with that, plus getting stuff set up for the live. You know, the top part I actually started before I even started the live, so all things considered, one block it's taking me over an hour to do. And it's not like it's the most complicating block, but gosh, if it takes me that long just to do this one block, I can only imagine how long it would take me to do some of those more complicating paper piece patterns, like the Judy Niemeyer's. Gosh, those things are very intricate. The legit kits, I mean, I've seen some of those kits and some of the patterns are so like, wow. There's some very intricate pieces in there. Quiltworks, or Quiltworks is Judy Niemeyer's company. Even the Violet Craft, she has that elephant pattern. My goodness. It would take me forever and a day just to do one of those quilts. I mean, this is bad enough. So, again, I'm not the best foundation paper piece person. There are others that I know of that love doing it. I'm just not one of them. But in doing this pattern, when I saw the pattern, and as I was kind of contemplating it, I figured this is not, it didn't look to be that intricate of a pattern. So I figured just give it a shot. And we shall make the quilt. I was looking for a pattern that did not require any special tool or any special I was trying to look for a non-paper piece pattern, but you know, a lot of those patterns, well, especially the free ones, it was kind of, it didn't really excite me. But when I saw this, although it was paper pieced, or it was foundation paper piecing, one of the reasons why I just decided to do this pattern was because I like the design of the quilt. Well, with one exception to this piece right here. And I heard comments, or I read some comments that some people have attempted to make these, but after doing the first one, they said forget it. And so they're probably going to think of some, or modify the design a little bit. Kat says, I ended up cutting all of my scraps down to 2.5 or 4.5. Took me almost an hour. The amount of scraps paper piecing creates is annoying. Yeah, it does create a lot of waste or a lot of scraps, depending on how you look at it. And I know a lot of people who do a lot of paper piecing. When it comes to paper piece patterns, you know, they will shop their scrap stash, and that's why they don't pre-cut it down to any size. They just leave it as it is, because you know, you never know what size you're going to need. And so the larger the scrap, the better, the more chances that they could actually use it into another paper piece project. Okay, this one was a struggle, but we made it through. Well, actually, it was a struggle because I had all these technical difficulties with the cameras and the software. Okay, let's press this down. Okay, and voila. Whoops. Everything is just breaking down on me tonight. The iron fell down. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Miss Suzanne Taylor. Thank you for activating the hot topic. Let me see, has anybody else? I don't believe so. Okay. What is the hottest temperature you have ever experienced? And Cat F says 112 degrees. Suzanne Taylor says 104 degrees with humidity. Wow. Okay, the hottest temperature I've ever been in, believe it or not, 129 degrees. That was, well, 129 degrees, yeah. And if you know anything about me, you might know where it is. So let's make this a competition. I do have a prize to give away, and it's related to this question. So it was 129 degrees. That's the highest temperature I've ever experienced. Here's, if you can answer this correctly, you'll get the prize. Where was this 129 degrees? Where was I? The elephant quilt is on a bucket list, but I need more practice first. Okay, Kat. One of the first FPP projects I made was a twin-size quilt with a large giraffe in the center. Had many, many pieces in it. It was for my granddaughter. Oh, turned out beautiful. Well, thank you, Gloria. Okay, so question again. The highest temperature I've ever experienced was 129 degrees. If you want to take a guess as to where I was when I experienced that, you'll get a prize for it. And I've been trying to, let me pull it out. I know it's nearby. So the prize will be this. I know it's barely even August, but you know what they say, Christmas in July. So I need to, I'm starting to use up a lot of my Christmas supplies. And so I was making this once here. And so if you can guess where it was, this is yours. And I see there is a couple of guesses, or two people who guess. Gloria Garris says 108 degrees is her hottest temperature. Donna Hoskins says crossing the Arizona desert, Dead Man's Valley. Oh, you're on the right track. Chris Montour says in Nevada. Okay. Susan Leong. Hey, Sue. Mojave Desert. That's close. It's within the Mojave Desert, I'll say that. But I think, Linda Fugate, you are the first to get that right. It was in Death Valley. In the dead heat of summer, I was crazy enough to go to Death Valley. And at the hottest time of the day, which was about 1 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon, it was 102. The thermometer registered 129 degrees. So, yeah. Needless to say, I did not go out. So, there you have it. So, Linda, if you email me, I can send you this, or I know you're local, so we can schedule a time to meet up. This is yours if you want it. Or if you wanted me to send it to someone else, just let me know. Okay. So here is one last look of the block. Sorry, just trying to shake loose the threads. And so now I got 5 of them done. And if you don't, or if you haven't seen previous lives, I did mention that instead of doing this, I'm going to actually do this instead. So in between each of these blocks, I'm going to have that little, oh, no, that is right. I'm going to do that little 4 patch and put it on point, and then fill in the rest with background or more background fabric. So, and I am going to stagger it. So it'll be the chain or the 4 patch on point, then the block, and then another 4 patch on point, then another block. So yeah, I was just not looking forward to doing this. So yeah. Hi, Eric. Finally got on after a Zoom meeting. Well, glad you made it. So yeah, so those of you who came in late, I'm terribly, terribly sorry to say this, but I'm going to postpone, or I'm going to cancel all future lives until further notice, because again, there's been a lot of technical issues in the last couple of weeks. And I know, um, the computer's been freezing up. The signal is, or the video's not very smooth. So I know it's very spotty. And I know it's frustrating for all of you out there who keep trying to, you want to support the channel, but yet all of these technical difficulties kind of get in the way. So I'm going to make a decision now to actually just kind of cancel any kind of live until further notice, and until I can get this whole connection and internet situation corrected. Because again, it's frustrating for me, and it's got to be frustrating for all of you who are watching and trying to, be supportive in watching. But I just got to work through these issues, and so I want to provide the best quality live as I can, but I need to work through some of these issues. So until further notice, all the lives are going to be kind of canceled at this point. I'm not going to schedule anything in the future. I did have one scheduled on the 30th, but I'm going to just cancel that for now. So I do apologize for all of these technical difficulties, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me and just bearing it with me on that. But yeah, until I can figure out what is going on with this computer, I'm just going to cancel it, because I know it's frustrating for all of you. So hopefully I can resolve it, and we can get back into the motion of things. So yeah, there is no Zoom this week, but next week there is a Zoom call that will be August, because yep, that'll be August 1st. What do you know? Okay. If you want to join in on the Zoom, you can send me an email. Hopefully this works. I did not test this, but you can send me an email at treasureheartcreations@gmail.com. We'll get you in with the Zoom meeting. Sorry. Okay. If you have time, pre-recorded and upload without editing. I was thinking about that, Donna, to just pre-record stuff and upload it in. The thing is, if you don't edit it down, well, even then, it takes a while, because a 15-minute video takes about 8 hours to get uploaded. And if I'm not editing out a lot of it, well, that can take pretty much 24 hours, believe it or not. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a live. And again, I'll see you sometime in the future. Just don't know when. Yeah. But any last minute questions or any last minute comments? Again, I do appreciate you guys, your patience with all of these technical issues for the past couple of weeks. Hopefully I can get it situated quickly and resolved quickly. I might just end up having to buy a new computer, because I think this computer just might be overtaxed by now. So yeah. Well, miss seeing everyone, but hopefully it's a quick resolution. Thank you, Kat. Good luck with the tech. See you then. Thank you, Suzanne. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. Stay cool, stay safe, and I will see you when I see you. But until then, let's all go out there. Let's all create something. So, bye for now.